guys to another episode on the Extra Mile. My name is Alex and welcome to the C63 update episode. A lot of stuff has happened with the car. I'm sorry about the lighting. I hope that you can see me here. So let's start at the beginning. So last year I went to a few track days with the car, as most of you guys will know. And I've noticed a few things that could have been better in terms of heat management and in terms of power and grip. So the first thing that I changed or added is a bigger oil cooler. In fact, this one is twice as big as the stock oil cooler, and it's awesome. I've actually tried to overheat the car by just, doing second and third gear pulls over and over again. It doesn't go over 115 degrees no matter what I do. And usually when I was just driving moderately quickly on a lovely country road on a day such as today, and after a few minutes you just check the oil temperature and you're deep in the 120s, 125, and you think, oh my god, okay, I gotta maybe take it a little easy. And on the track I was easily reaching 130, which is getting into the critical zone in terms of temperature. So bigger oil cooler, so far it has worked perfectly. We will see how efficient it actually is when we go to the next track day, which will be relatively soon. I will get to that point later. Holy shit. Man. Yeah, oil cooler, super awesome. The next thing that I did is a little brake upgrade. The rotor and pads are completely new. They were just worn down. I just had to replace them during the regular service. And what I did change is stainless steel brake lines and a different brake fluid. So that should help with the pedal not getting soft towards the end of the stints, and to just get a little bit more consistency. And I can actually feel that the brake pedal, whoa, Jesus, and it keeps pulling. Holy crap. And I can feel that the brake pedal is just a little bit stiffer, a little bit firmer than it was in stock form, which I actually like. I thought it was a little bit too soft, so that's really neat. And we will see how the brakes hold up on the track. Third thing is flushing the gearbox. I've now close to 130,000 kilometers on the clock here, so that's just a maintenance thing, just to flush the gearbox. Oh, lovely Evo 9, I believe that was. Then we're getting into the interesting stuff. Full KW Clubsport coilover suspension, front and rear, obviously. Really awesome. Something that I did not expect. When you're just cruising along at 35 miles an hour driving through a little city or something, you don't really notice that big of a difference between the KWs and the stock suspension. The stock suspension was relatively stiff, and so is obviously the KW suspension. But the few times where it was a little bit dry and where I could load up the suspension a little bit in a corner, holy crap guys, the difference was massive. Pretty much no body roll whatsoever, but that's not the only thing. It was so much more composed and predictable in a way, and the grip limit, the mechanical grip limit seemed much higher. Obviously this is just from a few corners, this is just a gut feeling, but I was actually very surprised about how different the car felt when I loaded up the suspension. Really interesting. I'm really curious to go on a track and experience the full potential of that KW suspension. Yeah, I'm actually quite surprised about the difference that it made in terms of comparing the stock suspension to the KW. Really cool. Probably the biggest or the mod with the biggest influence on how the car handles is the chip tuning. So we have different air filters. We threw away the stock paper air filters, and we also threw away that extra charcoal filter that Mercedes has put in there. So that's new, and there is a different tune on the engine, and it has been to the dyno, and it put out some quite interesting numbers. 530 horses and 668 Newton meters of torque. Maybe a little bit below the horsepower figure that I was hoping for, but a little bit beyond the torque figure that I was hoping for, which might be because of my specific exhaust configuration, which we will get to in the next point. But yeah, the difference in terms of what the butt dyno feels is actually quite massive. In terms of torque, when you're just cruising along, you know, 5th gear, 6th gear, and you just gently roll on the throttle, the car picks up speed immediately. It feels much, much stronger than it did before. Really, really cool. In terms of maximum, in terms of maximum power, how hard the car pushes, it actually feels like, I would say almost a third more grunt, a third more power. But again, that's butt dyno, that's always a little bit optimistic maybe. But yeah, I'm really, really happy that the power that was in the stock engine that was just held back by the factory tune and by the factory exhaust is now unleashed. 530 horses, close to 670 Newton meters of torque is very, very, very healthy. And yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Very healthy, very awesome. Woohoo! Last point on the list, on the relatively long list of mods, full exhaust system. There's one company here in Germany that makes a road legal exhaust system that includes long tube headers, which I needed and wanted to get the power increase. And yeah, that company is called Friedrich Motorsport, and I got a full exhaust system from them. And there are certain things that I love about this new sound, and there are certain things that I miss about the old sound. Mostly when you let off the gas with the stock exhaust, you have those nice, lovely crackles and pops that you get. They are still here with this exhaust, but they are very low frequency. You don't really hear them that much, and I kind of miss that. That being said, the exhaust has kind of changed its sound a little bit since it was first installed. You know, it just has to burn in a little bit, and I still haven't fully done that. I maybe put, I don't know, 150 kilometers on the car since all these modifications were made, so the exhaust might still change its sound a little bit. I will put out a sound comparison video, maybe even today or tomorrow at the latest. I did some recordings of the stock car and now some recordings of the modified car, and I will just cut that together and give you guys a comparison, an idea what it sounds on the outside. But yeah, I'm at the moment, I'm not sure that this will be the last exhaust on this car ever, but there are some parts that I really, really like, especially at low speeds and partial throttle. You have this nice bassy burble that you didn't really have before, or at least it was not as pronounced, but yeah, really sweet. So that's the list of mods. The goal of these mods was to make the car track ready, so it doesn't overheat, so the brakes are a little bit more reliable than they were, so it has more power, which, you know, can't hurt. heard. Better handling, all that stuff. And I can't wait to try this on the track, which brings me to my final point, guys. First track day of the season will be this Sunday on the lovely track called Hockenheim here in Germany, which is a relatively famous track. F1 race there. There were quite a few race series that visited the track over the years. Not so much in the recent years, I think, but yeah, anyway, I will drive there this Sunday, and I'm hoping, really hoping, that we will have dry weather, because if not, if it's really pouring down, I might just not drive there. But if it's just drizzling a little bit, I will still drive there. But I'm hoping that it will be dry and that I can... Oh, that's what I mean. That torque, that extra torque is just so nice. But yeah, this Sunday I will drive to Hockenheim. You don't have to get a reservation for this track day. You can just drive there, and apparently you pay 18 euros, and you can drive for 15 minutes on the track. They have 2 time slots on that day, one in the morning from, I believe, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. and another one from 3 p.m. to, I believe, 6 p.m., something like that. I will be there in the afternoon, praying for dry conditions, and film the whole thing, obviously, for you guys. So this is basically it, just a very quick and dirty little update for you in terms of what has been happening with the car. I plan to do a lot more track days this year. Nordschleife opens back up in April, so I will drive there very, very soon as well. And my goal is to roughly do 1 track day per month in this season, basically until maybe October or so, when it just gets too cold and too wet to drive on a racetrack. So yeah, this is it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this little update. If you have any questions about any of the mods, let me know. And yeah, I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in the next video, guys. Bye bye.